The laboratory hummed with an electric tension as Dr. Yunwoo Park stared intently at the quantum resonance matrix. Sleek metallic panels lined the walls, reflecting the soft blue glow of advanced scientific equipment. Outside the reinforced windows, the morning sun cast long shadows across the research facility's sprawling campus. Her fingers moved swiftly across the holographic interface, manipulating complex data streams that danced and shifted like living mathematics. Years of research, countless failed experiments, and sleepless nights had led to this singular moment of potential breakthrough. The experimental drive sat at the center of the massive testing chamber, a device no larger than a typical automobile engine, but with capabilities that could reshape human understanding of space and travel. Its exterior was a smooth, brushed titanium surface, interrupted only by intricate quantum coupling nodes that pulsed with a soft, almost breathing rhythm. Dr. Park's research team watched silently. Some held their breath, others nervously adjusted their lab coats. They represented the best minds from 12 different countries, united by a single audacious goal: creating humanity's first true faster-than-light travel mechanism. Initializing quantum entanglement sequence, she announced, her voice calm and controlled. The device began to vibrate. Microscopic energy patterns started to ripple across its surface, creating interference waves that defied conventional physics. Traditional scientific models suggested what they were attempting was impossible. Yet, here they were, challenging the very foundations of known scientific understanding. Nearby computer systems tracked hundreds of simultaneous data points. Temperature readings, quantum flux measurements, gravitational distortions, each metric seemed to dance on the edge of comprehension. Something extraordinary was happening. Suddenly, a sharp electrical crack echoed through the chamber. The quantum drive's energy signature spiked dramatically. Dr. Park's team exchanged quick, nervous glances. Was this another failure, or something more? The device's quantum nodes began rotating in complex, synchronized patterns. Each rotation generated massive amounts of energy, far beyond what any previous prototype had achieved. Mathematical models they had developed were being rewritten in real time, contradicting decades of established scientific thought. Dr. Park remained focused, her hands moving with surgical precision across the control interfaces. Years of Korean technical education and global research experience had prepared her for this exact moment. She understood the risks, the potential for catastrophic failure, but also recognized the unprecedented opportunity before her. Stabilization protocols engaging, she muttered, more to herself than to her colleagues. The quantum drive's energy continued to build. Surrounding equipment began to vibrate, responding to the massive energy generation. Some team members instinctively took a step back, their professional composure momentarily shaken. Then, something remarkable happened. The device's quantum nodes aligned in a perfect geometric configuration. A soft, almost imperceptible hum replaced the previous electrical crackling. Energy readings that had been wildly fluctuating suddenly normalized, presenting data that seemed to defy every known scientific principle. Dr. Park allowed herself a small smile. This was different from their previous attempts. This felt significant. Record everything, she instructed her team. Every single data point, no matter how insignificant it might seem. The quantum drive continued its mesmerizing dance of energy and potential. In that moment, inside this carefully controlled laboratory, humanity stood on the precipice of a technological revolution that could transform their understanding of space, time, and cosmic travel. No one in the room knew it yet, but the device before them represented more than just a scientific experiment. It was the first step towards humanity's future among the stars. The Galactic Council chambers were a marvel of alien architecture, a massive circular room designed to accommodate representatives from dozens of interstellar civilizations. Translucent walls shimmered with holographic interfaces, and the seating arrangement reflected centuries of diplomatic protocol. Ambassador Jae-sung Kim stood at the center, looking remarkably calm despite the weight of his presentation. His dark blue diplomatic suit was crisp, with subtle electronic threads that could adjust to various environmental conditions. Around him, alien delegates from a dozen different star systems watched with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. The Vortian delegation sat to his left, their tentacle-like appendages moving with nervous energy. Across the chamber, the crystal-bodied luminarians maintained their characteristic stillness, their translucent forms reflecting the chamber's soft lighting. Each species represented millions of years of technological development, and each believed they understood the universe's fundamental laws. Distinguished representatives, Jae-sung began, his voice clear and confident, humanity presents a breakthrough in faster-than-light travel technology. A low murmur rippled through the chamber. The Krillian representative, a massive reptilian creature with scales that changed color with emotional states, let out a dismissive rumble. Its scales shifted to a deep purple, a color signaling extreme doubt. Jae-sung activated the holographic display. Three-dimensional schematics of the quantum drive materialized, rotating slowly to showcase its intricate design. Complex mathematical equations danced around the projection, showing energy calculations that seemed to challenge everything the Council knew about space travel. Our quantum entanglement drive, he continued, allows instantaneous travel across galactic distances without the traditional energy consumption limitations. The Luminarian chief scientist leaned forward, her crystalline structure catching the light. Her species had developed faster-than-light technology centuries ago, requiring massive energy generators and complex navigation systems. What the human was presenting seemed almost impossible. Impossible, muttered the Vortian diplomat, his translator converting the sound into precise human language. Humans have not demonstrated capabilities for such advanced technology. Jae-sung remained unfazed. He had anticipated this response. Years of diplomatic training and scientific background had prepared him for this moment. The presentation wasn't just about technology, it was about challenging preconceived notions about humanity's potential. The holographic display shifted, showing simulated travel routes. A small representation of a human spacecraft appeared to jump between star systems in mere moments, a journey that would typically take traditional vessels decades or even centuries. Alien delegates began to whisper among themselves. Translation systems worked overtime, converting complex linguistic patterns and emotional undertones. Skepticism mixed with a growing sense of intrigue. The Krillian representative's scales began to shift from deep purple to a mottled green, indicating a mix of confusion and reluctant interest. Its massive form leaned forward, massive eyes focusing intently on the presentation. Our drive, Jae-sung explained, uses quantum entanglement principles that create localized spacetime compression. This allows near-instantaneous travel without traditional propulsion methods. Each word was carefully chosen, designed to be both scientifically precise and diplomatically strategic. He wasn't just presenting a technological breakthrough, he was challenging the entire galactic understanding of interstellar travel. The chamber grew quieter. Representatives from various star systems began to analyze the data, their advanced computational implants processing information at speeds incomprehensible to human minds. Something extraordinary was happening. Humanity, a species often viewed as young and technologically primitive, was presenting a technology that could fundamentally reshape galactic transportation and communication. As the presentation concluded, the silence was more telling than any verbal response. The Galactic Council had just witnessed something that would change everything they knew about space travel. Jae-sung Kim allowed himself a very slight, almost imperceptible smile. The first step was complete. Captain Suk Hwang sat motionless in the prototype vessel's neural interface chamber. Tiny neural connectors wrapped around his temples, creating a direct link between his brain and the quantum drive's navigation systems. The spacecraft, sleek and almost featureless, looked more like a smooth technological sculpture than a traditional interstellar vessel. Outside the ship, hundreds of scientific and diplomatic observers watched through reinforced observation windows. Holographic tracking systems surrounded the vessel, ready to capture every millisecond of the historic moment. Dr. Yunwoo Park's voice crackled through the communication system. Initiation sequence commencing. All systems are green. Suk took a deep breath. Months of training, thousands of simulated scenarios, and years of preparation had led to this singular moment. His hands remained steady, his mind completely focused on the task ahead. The quantum drive began to hum. Unlike traditional rocket engines or plasma drives, this sound was different, a soft, almost musical vibration that seemed to resonate with the very fabric of space around the vessel. Subtle energy patterns started to dance across the ship's exterior, creating rippling waves of quantum interference. Alien delegates from the Galactic Council watched with growing tension. Their advanced sensors struggled to comprehend the technology before them. Some communication systems began to glitch, unable to process the quantum energy signatures being generated. Quantum entanglement sequence activated, Dr. Park announced. The ship didn't move in any traditional sense. Instead, space itself seemed to fold around the vessel. The observation windows filled with strange, iridescent patterns, mathematical representations of spacetime compression that defied conventional understanding. For a moment, everything went completely silent. Then, in less than a heartbeat, the ship vanished. Sensors across the observation chamber went wild. Tracking systems showed the vessel simultaneously existing in multiple locations, near Earth's orbit, then instantly near the Andromeda Galaxy's outer rim, then back again. The travel was so fast that human perception couldn't track the movement. Alien representatives stared in stunned disbelief. The Vortian delegation's communication tendrils began to twist in complex patterns, signaling extreme confusion. Luminary and crystal structures flickered, their advanced computational systems struggling to process what they were witnessing. Inside the vessel, Captain Huang experienced something entirely different. Time and space became fluid concepts. He could see distant star systems, feel the mathematical precision of quantum pathways, and understand the universe in ways no human had ever experienced before. 12 minutes after disappearing, the ship reappeared exactly where it had started. Captain Huang disconnected from the neural interface, his hands slightly trembling. "Mission completed," he said simply. Dr. Park rushed to review the initial data streams. Preliminary readings suggested they had traveled approximately 2.5 million light-years in what seemed like mere moments. Traditional spacecraft would have required millions of years to complete such a journey. The Galactic Council chamber remained silent. Years of established scientific understanding had just been completely dismantled in a single demonstration. The Krillian representative's communication interface began to translate its complex emotional response: impossible, unacceptable, unprecedented. Dr. Park allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had just changed everything. Captain Huang stepped from the vessel, looking surprisingly calm. His eyes carried a distant look, someone who had just witnessed something beyond human comprehension. Alien diplomats began to whisper among themselves. Some looked terrified, others looked excited. But everyone understood one fundamental truth: nothing would be the same after this moment. Humanity had just demonstrated a technology that could reshape the entire understanding of interstellar travel. The quantum drive was more than just a mechanical innovation, it was a fundamental reimagining of how species could explore and understand the universe. As data streams continued to pour in, one thing became crystal clear: the galaxy would never be the same again. The news spread across galactic communication networks faster than the quantum drive itself. Within hours of the demonstration, diplomatic channels erupted into chaos. Emergency sessions were called on multiple planetary systems, with leaders and scientific councils scrambling to understand the implications of humanity's breakthrough. The Krillian Confederation was the first to react officially. Their massive communication arrays began transmitting diplomatic messages that bordered on aggressive demands. They wanted complete access to the quantum drive technology, presenting a series of complex trade proposals that seemed more like thinly veiled threats. Ambassador Jae-sung Kim sat in the United Earth Diplomatic Center, surrounded by holographic communication faces. His fingers moved quickly, filtering through hundreds of incoming transmission requests. Each message represented a different planetary system's reaction: fear, curiosity, anger, and desperation mixed into a complex emotional landscape. The Vortian Diplomatic Corps proposed immediate technology restriction treaties. Their long, tentacle-like communication appendages drafted complex legal documents that would effectively quarantine human technological development. They saw the quantum drive as a potential threat to the existing galactic power structure. Luminarian scientists, typically the most technologically advanced species in the Galactic Council, remained surprisingly silent. Their crystal-based communication networks suggested a deep state of internal analysis. They were processing the technological implications at speeds incomprehensible to human understanding. Dr. Yun-Woo Park found herself in an unexpected position. Scientific institutions from multiple star systems began flooding her research center with communication requests. Some offered collaborative research proposals, while others attempted to bribe or threaten her team into sharing technical details. Military strategists on Earth quickly understood the potential implications. The quantum drive wasn't just a scientific breakthrough, it was a potential game-changer in interstellar politics and potential conflicts. Entire defense strategies would need immediate recalibration. The economic implications were equally staggering. Stock markets across human colonies began to react wildly. Companies involved in space technology saw their valuation multiply overnight. Space exploration companies became overnight global superpowers. Smaller planetary systems began sending diplomatic envoys. Some offered massive resource trade agreements, while others proposed complex technological exchange programs. Humanity had suddenly become the most interesting species in the known galaxy. The Krillian Confederation's response grew more aggressive. Intelligence reports suggested they were developing strategies to potentially steal or replicate the quantum drive technology. Covert operation teams were being assembled, preparing for potential technological espionage. Earth's diplomatic corps worked around the clock. Ambassador Kim rarely slept, managing a complex web of international and interstellar negotiations. Each conversation was a delicate balance between showcasing humanity's achievement and preventing potential conflict. Scientific institutions worldwide began receiving unprecedented funding. Governments and private corporations suddenly saw space exploration as the most critical technological frontier. Research centers that had struggled for decades now found themselves at the center of human potential. The quantum drive represented more than just a technological breakthrough. It was a statement about human potential, a declaration that a young species could challenge established galactic understanding. Alien diplomatic channels began to shift. Species that had previously ignored or marginalized humanity now looked at them with a mixture of fear and respect. The power dynamics of galactic civilization were fundamentally changing. Dr. Park's research team became instant celebrities. Media outlets from multiple planetary systems sought interviews, documentary rights, and exclusive insights into their groundbreaking work. As diplomatic tensions escalated, one thing became clear: humanity had just changed the rules of interstellar engagement. The quantum drive was more than a technological achievement, it was a fundamental reimagining of how species could interact, explore, and understand the universe. The galaxy held its collective breath, waiting to see what humanity would do next. 5 years after the quantum drive demonstration, humanity had transformed from a marginalized planetary species to a significant interstellar presence. New colonial missions launched weekly, with spacecraft using the revolutionary technology exploring regions of space previously considered unreachable. Captain Suk Won, now leading the Interstellar Exploration Command, watched as multiple human vessels prepared for simultaneous deep space missions. The launch facility resembled a complex technological ecosystem, with quantum-enabled ships representing humanity's most ambitious technological achievement. Earth's population had changed dramatically. Space exploration became a primary global focus. Universities expanded their astrophysics and quantum engineering programs. Millions of young scientists and engineers saw space exploration as their primary career pathway. The Galactic Council found itself continuously negotiating with human representatives. Ambassador Jae-sung Kim had become a legendary diplomatic figure, skillfully managing relationships between humanity and established alien civilizations. His negotiation strategies were studied across multiple planetary systems. Dr. Yun-Woo Park's research team continued developing quantum drive technology. Each iteration made the drives more efficient, stable, and powerful. They had transformed from a small research group to a globally recognized scientific institution that effectively reshaped human technological understanding. Economic systems underwent radical transformation. Space resource extraction became a trillion-dollar industry. Asteroid mining operations, previously considered impossible, now happened weekly. Human corporations established permanent research stations on distant planetary systems. The Krillian Confederation, initially hostile, gradually recognized the potential collaborative opportunities. Their initial attempts at technological espionage had failed, forcing them to consider diplomatic engagement. Trade agreements began to emerge, replacing previous aggressive postures. Smaller planetary systems saw humanity as a potential ally and technological partner. Educational exchange programs flourished. Human scientists began collaborating with alien research institutions, creating unprecedented knowledge networks that transcended traditional species boundaries. Military strategists recognized the quantum drive's strategic implications. Space defense systems were completely redesigned. The concept of territorial control expanded from planetary surfaces to entire star systems. Humanity's potential for rapid deployment became a significant diplomatic consideration. Communication technologies evolved rapidly. The quantum drive's underlying principles began influencing communication network designs. Instantaneous data transmission between distant star systems became a realistic possibility, not just a theoretical concept. Environmental restoration technologies also benefited. The quantum drive's energy generation principles started influencing sustainable energy research. Climate restoration projects gained new technological approaches derived from quantum drive innovations. Cultural exchanges became more frequent. Human artists, scientists, and explorers traveled to distant planetary systems with unprecedented ease. Multicultural understanding expanded beyond traditional terrestrial limitations. The first human-established permanent extraterrestrial colony was established near the Andromeda Galaxy's outer rim. Thousands of volunteers prepared for long-term settlement, representing humanity's most ambitious colonization effort. Alien civilizations that had previously dismissed humans now watched with a mixture of respect and cautious curiosity. The quantum drive had effectively rewritten the rules of interstellar engagement. Dr. Park often reflected on their initial breakthrough. What had started as a complex scientific experiment had fundamentally reshaped human potential. The quantum drive represented more than technological innovation, it was a testament to human creativity, persistence, and ability to challenge established understanding. Captain Huang prepared for another exploratory mission. As he connected to the neural interface, he understood that each journey represented more than scientific exploration. They were writing a new chapter in human history. The universe, once seen as vast and unreachable, now felt like an open invitation. Humanity had transformed from a planetary species to a potential galactic civilization in just a few short years. Ambassador Kim watched another quantum-enabled vessel launch, understanding that diplomacy would play a crucial role in managing humanity's rapid expansion. The next decades would determine how effectively humans would integrate into the broader galactic community. As the launch bay doors opened and the quantum drive hummed with potential, one thing became absolutely clear. Humanity's journey was just beginning. The stars were no longer a distant dream, but an achievable destination. The new cosmic chapter had begun.